is a tutorial on how to run LAMMPS on a Windows computer. You're going to want to make sure that you've already installed LAMMPS, following previous video and documentation to do that. And after installing LAMMPS, you should be ready to run it. The first thing that you will need to run LAMMPS to your computer is actually an input file. You should be able to find this on Canvas on the Computational Material Science assignment or wherever else your professors posted it. It should be called in.cte. That's the input file we are going to use today to run LAMMPS. This input file actually contains a lot of information that the simulation will use as it's running. You can open this in-1.cte file in Notepad. It works great to edit it. And you'll see here many different values that LAMMPS will reference while running the simulations. Most specifically today, we're going to be focused on the temperature value and the bond energy value. These are both very important in our simulations. But we will come back to that later. To run LAMMPS, you're going to open Command Prompt. It's easiest to do this simply by searching for Command Prompt in the Windows Start menu, and then you should be ready to go. Please note that you'll want to make sure you're using Command Prompt and not the LAMMPS shell when running LAMMPS. You are going to first direct Command Prompt to the folder where your input file is located. In our case, that's in Downloads. And so what we're going to do is copy this address from File Explorer for our Downloads folder. And then we will navigate to Command Prompt and type CD for change directory, space, and then paste that folder location where our input file is located. And you'll note here that LAMMPS is now, Command Prompt is now referencing the folder where our input file is, Downloads. You're now ready to run LAMMPS. To do that, you're going to type the LMP command and space -in. This is telling LAMMPS what your next command is. In this case, it's the file name of where the input file is located, and then space, and then the name of your input file. In our case, that is in-1.cte, in-1.cte. And then when you click enter, you should see that LAMMPS begins to run. Now, you might get a little concerned that LAMMPS is spitting out all these simulation values and you don't really know what to do with them. Well, fortunately, LAMMPS actually creates a log file, and you'll see it being created here. And so all this data that you're seeing come up in Command Prompt as the simulation runs can be found in this log file. And so we're just going to wait for this simulation to finish. It should take anywhere from 10 seconds to a couple of minutes, depending on the exact bond energy and max temperature values you have on your input file. Okay, great. So if you look here, our simulation is now finished. It took 31 seconds to perform. And as I referenced before, we have our log file here that includes all those values from Command Prompt that we'll use later to analyze the simulation. To run the LAMMPS simulation again, we are going to edit our in-1.cte file in Notepad. Right here, we have our bond energy values. In this case, I'm going to change the bond energy value to 2.005 for the simulation, and then the max temperature to 50. After doing that, after editing the input file, always ensure that you save the input file prior to running the LAMMPS simulation again in Command Prompt. We go back to Command Prompt, and we actually can just run the same LAMMPS command again, LMP space -in space in-1.cte. It'll reference our updated version of the input file and run the simulation with different values. And so once again, we're just going to wait for the simulation to finish running. You'll see here that this second simulation only took 10 seconds to run. And if we navigate back to File Explorer, we will see that we now have two log files, two output files from our LAMMPS simulations, the log.cte001 file and the log.cte005 file. And these files are ones that we could import into Excel or MATLAB in order to analyze the LAMMPS simulations. You're welcome to continue editing the in-1.cte file, changing bond energy, temperature. You could even mess with these other values to see how they change the system. But that is how you approach running the LAMMPS on a Windows computer.